Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Right on, Stephanie. Thanks for being with me. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you today.
I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. The program will be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you know that this was the way to go? So that's what you do for a living, please.
I do several things right now. I am serving as a fractional COO, and in that regard, I help business owners and entrepreneurs put their fires out. I am a very experienced small business owner, and I know from my own experiences that I've got too much on my plate. I have no idea how to get it all done. I'm barely sleeping, not seeing my family. And so I help small business owners solve their everyday operational needs. I also serve as a fractional HR executive, a business coach, and with the recent release of my book, Dark and Silent Office, I'm doing a lot of speaking about digital accessibility and inclusive communication in the workplace.
If you don't mind, send me a link about the copy of the book because I want to put it in the description of the video so that people can
Sure.
check it out. And so
Thank
were
you.
you like walking the street one day and you were like, let me be an HR coaching and everything, or something else?
Not at all. It was a really long journey
We have
to
time.
figure out what I wanted to do in life. I actually did start in HR when I was 16 for our family business, and I was working on weekends and evenings and holidays and even all through college. I did leave that and had a small business with my husband. I went into government contracting, a software development company, continued to expand my knowledge in all operations for businesses. And then actually about 3 years ago, I read the book Range, and it really helped me feel confident about my breadth of skills, not depth, but breadth of all the business operations. And I find that's what I love to do. I love to still support small businesses. And I have a lot of experience to bring to the table. And that's when I decided to open my own business.
Of all the administrative positions that are out there, and I've been like working in administration since 2012, and
Yeah.
I'm being left with the impression that of all the administrative positions, and that includes finance,
Yeah.
accountants, everything, HR is the most underrated job ever. And now we all know that it's not an easy job. You're working with, people's documents and salary, ID and everything.
Yeah.
And even I'm guilty of that. So yeah, keep in mind it's a joke, but I think you're gonna appreciate it. Do you know what an HR agent does once he or she is retired?
No.
Still nothing. And every
You did not say that.
I and I'm guilty of it because we all know it's not that, but somehow it's like the punching bag of the administration. It's I don't know why that's but I have
Yeah,
a
you're
lot
right.
of friends in HR. They know I love them, but every now and then I'm just dropping over there, especially when there's a new hire over there. I'm going over there to
Yeah.
tell them that joke. And
That is fun. That is very funny, actually. You're right. It's underrated. It's a
very.
necessary set of operations. How do you even get people in the door to apply without HR? How do you get people to sign up for benefits without HR? How do you get people to get their PTO and their salary done correctly and their payroll without HR? How do you help build all the employee engagement activities, all of those things that people sort of take for granted that are the backbone of an operation to get the people there, all the people operations. And I actually love it because I really enjoy working with people. It's not fun to terminate people, but as a business owner, I do believe that you need to have the right people in the right seats. That's kind of an EOS concept that I really believe strongly in. And taking advantage of individual skills and abilities to really optimize the successes in the organization is really what it's all about.
No, it's the same in Europe as well. I can tell you that much for sure because I'm all in for digitalization. I'm all in for
Mm.
that. I'm all in for including new and new systems and applications that can make our life easier. But you cannot simply cannot remove the human element. That doesn't, and
Right.
especially because I'm sure we will talk about that afterwards with you. But like, I am rather certain that you're a people's person. Otherwise, there is little to no chance to do all this because I've known a lot of people from HR and none of them are in this for the money. Like, let's
Right.
be honest, you just have to be this kind of person. I've given this example a few times that, the technology is taking our jobs and so on and so forth. Steph, you know those super, super iconic phone booths in London? You know them, right?
You,
The red ones, right?
oh, sure, yeah. I actually have a neighbor that has one in her front yard.
Nice. Do you know the story behind those phone booths?
I don't. Tell me,
All right.
please.
Right. So when they installed them, there was a syndicate. There still is a syndicate in London, for the mailman syndicate, and they
Mm.
broke all of them in one night because they were afraid that they'll be out of a job. That was 134 years ago, and I am pretty sure I've never been to Britain in my entire life, but I'm pretty sure that if I want to be a mailman over there, I can just go over there and start a job. So technology may reduce or increase the number of
Right.
people that are working there. But if you're really doing what you think you want to do, that shouldn't be a problem. That's of course my
Yeah.
opinion, but
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Technology is, I do believe in automation in helping individuals become more efficient in their roles, but people are people usually like to be in groups, like to have people
yeah,
around them, like to engage. And I mean, we saw that a lot in the pandemic with the increase in stress and anxiety with people being so alone. We are, I guess pack animals for for lack of a better way to say it. And so as long as humans continue to need that interaction with each other, we will have human resources operations and people operations.
yeah, exactly. Like those self things in the stores, when you check yourself and pay with the card.
Yeah,
We have
yeah,
those, and they used a lot because not that they don't work, they work perfectly. But it's always nice to go over there and there's a nice person, nice cashier and something like, yeah, how you doing? How was your day? I wish you good day. That kind of small stuff, and I really love it. So even I'm not using the automated stuff.
yeah. I do sometimes, but it depends on how long the lines are on the other side.
Yeah,
You know
fair
what?
enough. When
I
I'm in a
think,
hurry, I'm using it too.
yeah, I think, it's like anything. There's a balance. There's a good time and a bad time in it. And in everything that we do, we need to find a balance of a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I think that's the perfect. It wouldn't be great. I don't like the stores that are fully automated because I'm like, this old lady like slamming buttons and things, like trying to make it work. Like, stop telling me to put it over there in the bag. I put it over there in the bag. And I don't know if you have that where you live, but if you scan
We
it, it,
do.
it doesn't
There's
pull the right, right where it thinks that you didn't put it in the bag, like you stole it. I'm like, I didn't steal it. It's right there in the bag. Just scan the next thing, please. But then, sometimes there's a long line or something over there. So it's a balance. And I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think as in
fair enough.
anything.
The third question is, how did you knew that this was the way to go? Now you did cover it, about the
Yeah.
people person and so on and so forth. But the reason I'm asking, and I'm pretty sure that you being in HR, you've seen it more times than you care to remember. People tend to go to colleges and universities only for the
Yeah.
diploma, right? They have this thing in their brain that once you get it, it's all going to be good and your future is secure. Now, that may have been the case a long time
Yeah.
ago. I don't think
Yeah.
it's the case anymore. I thought it
Yeah.
was a problem that only we had only in Europe. Turns out it's definitely not only a European thing.
Right.
And that's basically why I made the channel because, I'm sure you've lost friendships over the years, money here and there. We all done that. When you lose between 4, 6, or sometimes 7 years, that's a long time, especially in a young person's life.
Yeah.
And we kind of have those super entitled young people. Those aren't kids anymore in my book. Those are young adults. And they think that, that they're kind of they have to be given some to them because of the diploma that they have.
Yeah.
And that makes them miserable. I'm not even bashing them in the end, because you have all those expectations and you're not getting anything simply for various reasons. And it's quite a problem. It's quite an issue. And how did you knew that this was the way to go? Was it a gut feeling for you? Were you influenced by someone? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was finishing high school, it was not really an option in my family. It was, you're going to go to college and this is what you have to do, and you're going to get a good job and you should have higher education. Um, I don't think that is the answer for everyone. Again, I'll go back to how did I know I didn't know? And again, I didn't figure it out until a few years ago, around 50. I applaud individuals, and
You
my
barely
daughters are
look over
examples.
30, to be honest.
Thanks.
I forgot where you're from,
I
but
adore
is
you,
it
Denny.
like really cold where you're from?
Cold?
Like sleeping in a refrigerator or something.
No, no. In fact, it's super steamy, rainy, humid, hot where I am in Maryland today. But
No, you look
thank
great.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll let my hairdresser know. She's a fantastic artist. Um,
Have one.
I didn't know, and I think this is super important when I teach people in my stand in the gap method coaching. I think that you need to go always back to what you're good at. Your skills and abilities will always drive where you can have a successful career. And sometimes that is through, you need to have education. Obviously, we can't be a doctor or a lawyer without certain education, but you don't need education to do all things. I ended up having an arts and science degree and taking a lot of classes that I did not care about. They were boring. And it wasn't until I took some graduate classes that were in areas of interest of mine that I really dug in. I'm like, wow, I actually love learning. I do have learning disability. I am ADHD. So that also made learning very difficult for me, reading, memorizing, all of that. But I think that I didn't know. And interestingly, what I came back to was organizational development. And there was a part of me as soon as I graduated from college that said, that's what I love doing. So I didn't know, and I just think people need to keep their eyes and ears open for what they're really good at and find a career in that area.
That's pretty good advice. I can 100% relate to what you're saying because I have severe case of dyslexia. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, very, very solid. Like for example, I'm having a very hard time to make the distinguish between 3 and 8, or 0 or 9. Uh,
Yeah.
and then, because I've been in finance for like the last 14 years, almost 15. So obviously it's not on my
Yeah.
resume because nobody will hire a guy that deals in finance and has trouble with numbers. So yeah, and yeah, it was quite challenging when I was growing up. We kind of got Google at the end of my at the end of my studies, so it would be
Yeah.
pretty helpful. But yeah, right now uh, I'm just like making all those incredibly complicated Excel files, and I'm
Yeah.
just putting them over there, and they're like leading in a color, green, yellow, red, and that
Yeah.
helps me to figure out the number because it's quite challenging,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, I applaud you for that is a difficult situation to grow up with and learning. And I applaud you for overcoming that and recognizing also that you may be there may be a bias toward individuals that have that. That's one of the things that I talk about in my book is really kind of breaking down those biases. I mean, you're a brilliant individual, you're charismatic. You can be very successful in your career, and disabilities do not define whether someone can be successful or not.
No, definitely not. So in the mind, I still don't know his name. There's a new colleague here. We have the guy has certain disabilities, quite visible, and I like. So what are you doing in free time? He was like, I'm a DJ. Like, really? You never know. But the guy's like super charming. So yeah, definitely. Everybody has something, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see that this can be overcome. Especially, it's all in the mind.
Yeah, it's in the mind. Well, it's also in other people's minds. So you need to have a confidence to
Oh,
overcome
that's a
that.
dark
And
place, Simba. We
right.
don't go there.
Yeah.
Never into the other people's mind. People by nature, an individual is amazing. The mind of an individual is amazing. The mind of the collective thing, now that's a dark, dark place. It doesn't matter where you're in Europe, Russia, China, India, United States, or whatever. As long as there's a group, I'm packing my things and I'm going the other direction because those people are like easily lit.
You're funny. I love groups of people. I think that organizations are more successful with a diverse set of individuals to complement. And in fact, when I hire individuals, I always hire individuals that have the skills and abilities that I don't have or the things that I'm not great at. And so I think groups of people make for that are diverse with different ways of thinking make for a really great organization and organizational culture.
Hands down, 100% because th those different skills that everybody have, they complement
Yeah,
one another at the end. Uh,
absolutely.
like I haven't seen a soccer game in a long time. It was 1998 when I saw the last game.
What?
Yeah, not much, but normally when a team is assembled, they always pick guys that are very good at very different parts of the field.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that kind of a mentality is pretty amazing because if you have like a lot of guys good at the same thing, it will end up in a conflict. This inner competition that it sometimes awakens, and
right.
when you all know your place inside organization and how to move together, it's perfect. It's always perfect.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
I have a fourth question, and I'm never
Okay.
putting it there for obvious reasons. I'm
I love
sure
surprises.
we can talk about this forever, but if you can synthesize it, if you can give my audience one advice, my audience is mostly people that are in college, out of college, fresh into a job, or simply looking for a new path. If you can give those people one advice, what will it be?
Yeah. It would be to not allow anyone to tell you you can't do something that you want to do. When you know that you want something, go for it. I think that we hold fears and we are afraid to take risks because we don't know what's on the other side, like jumping to the other side or going through a door. And I can tell you that in all my years of experience that I've taken those risks. I may not love what's on the other side, but guess what? You can always come back through the door. No, we have this belief that once we take a path and choose something that we have to keep going down that path, and we don't. You can just pick a different path. And so I encourage people to really just go for what they love and don't let fear stand in their way. And I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but it really is the path to happiness and this inner peace and enjoying life because most of us have to work. And so enjoying work is really a huge part of lifelong happiness.
Uh, I couldn't agree more because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about it here. It happens, and it's not an isolated case when people are even willing to work for a little bit less than other
Yeah.
place if the place is not toxic and if it's amazing to be there. Because salary is important, especially now with this inflation is going on. But you
Right.
know, people want to have, I wouldn't call it a comfort zone. People want to be okay. People want to be
Yeah.
fine. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are tremendously wealthy and the big mansions, everything. And a lot of them are not happy at all.
Hmm. Yeah, money doesn't, I believe money doesn't make people happy. My husband and I have this debate all the time. He says, but it sure helps. And I say, I don't
It
think it
sure
makes you
helps.
happy. And I have in fact taken at least two, I'm trying to think, it might be a third pay cut in my career span to make a lateral move because I knew it was going to end up getting me to the right path. And sometimes that has to happen, but it was the right move for my career. So that is something for folks to keep in mind. And do any of your wealthy friends want to make investments? You should connect them with me. I'm collecting investors for my other clients.
I don't have a lot of wealthy friends in the United States. Most of them are here. But I'll pick them the episode. That definitely may help. And you can even make them, not as miserable because that will reflect good on me as well. I
That's funny.
I remember that this tremendous girl, very, very lovely woman. We used to work together, and then she left the company. And the new place was, pretty well paid, but she was like super miserable. And
Yeah,
just like you saying, you can always come back.
yeah,
Like, just always welcome here. You have the skills, and
right.
people wouldn't waste time to, tutor you or help you. You already know the company and everything. And she's like, well, people may not like me. I was like, well, people in general didn't really like you even when you were here, so doesn't matter. But you will be happy. She started,
Yeah,
I was messing around because we all are.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's a very good advice. Once you try something, just swallow the ego. Nobody's gonna judge you, and even if they do, people were judging one another all the time anyway. So you got nothing to lose.
yeah. I 100% agree. To follow on that, I have seen small businesses say, no, that person resigned. We're not taking them back. Because they feel jilted that the person left them to begin with. But I have found 100% of the time when individuals ask to come back to an organization, they are 100% more loyal than they were the first time because now they've made a choice to be at that place and come back to it, and they end up being phenomenal employees.
Absolutely. I honestly didn't thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
And with
yeah.
that said, Steph, thanks for being with me. I truly appreciate it. It was amazing talk. Please don't forget to send me the link for the book, for everything, and I'll put them
Thank
in the
you.
description.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you today. It was really fun.
Likewise, ma'am. Ah,
Take care. Bye.
guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.